So let me guys ask you a question. What do you guys like to do as your guys' hobby other than airsoft? Well, for me, I actually like video games, and for one thing in particular I do like is Modern Warfare, specifically the Call of Duty series all the way throughout. And for me, I do notice that when they did come out with Modern Warfare 3 beta, I was having a lot of fun with it. And one thing I do recognize as well, we always talk about, is the guns that is out there. So for today, I want to show you guys the guns that we've seen on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 beta. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode. And just like we talked about in the video, we're going to be talking about is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 beta and what weapons we've seen on there, and we can try to relate it to the actual airsoft variant. Mainly one of them that I did notice is in the SMG section is the AMR9. Basically what we've seen on it is more of a 5.56 variant with the actual 9mm adapter. But if you notice, you can actually change the handguard to be shorter with a suppressor and also put the PDW stock. Kind of looks like this. The old school classic of the ARP 9 1.0 series. Surprisingly, the same PDW stock, the same type of style with the actual suppressor in the back end of it, which pretty darn close. Or even if we have to go closer, maybe even the ARP 5.56 variant. The same thing could be said just with the 9mm variant in the back end of the receiver. But to make it easier, it's just the 9mm style that we've seen on the actual AR PCC caliber carbines. So for one thing I noticed that is, hey, heck, this is one of the rifles that we've seen that's actually still pretty good. If you want to check out reviews on your actual ARP 9 2.0s or 3.0s, we'll put the link on the bottom below. Another one of the pistols that I've seen actually on the beta itself is mainly, it's a Glock. The Glock is a nice secondary and it's also the most reliable setup. Like for me, I have is the Glock 18. And in Modern Warfare 2, they always had the full auto variant, and as well as the regular semi-auto. If you're looking for products like these, you can always check out the description below for the Glocks variants like as the 17 Gen 5s, or even the Glock 18C that I have here. And now we're on to the SMG. The SMG class that we've seen on another part is the actual Striker 45 that's on there. And surprisingly, it's just a UMP 45 stock. Now for HK and the airsoft variant, we've known there's many plethoras of them. For example, there's the gas blowback UMP 45 going for $380. The regular competition's around the $180 price line. And as well to that, but let's look into the actual consistency and actual better performance. One thing I do know for sure, it's going to be the G&G PCC 45. As well to that, because the fact that if you're at your own online MOSFET, you're able to use LiPo batteries, and it's something that's actually pretty good. If you want to look at the basic videos that we've seen before I was here, here's a review of it from the YouTube channel that we'll see on the description right on below. Now that we're going to be talking about some of the assault rifles and SMGs, let's just go ahead and talk about mainly the Marksman style. One thing that we know for sure that we've seen on the beta Modern Warfare 3 was known as the longbow, which is a 7.62 by 39 platform. Basically like this. Now, one thing that we know that's different is they have the Picatinny rail on the back of the dust cover, which for me, this is my personal rifle. I kept it with the traditional scope mount and of course the variable scope all the way through. But one thing we know for sure with the airsoft community, the one thing that is like my personal AK that I have here is CYMA is known for being reliable and durable with their actual AK platforms. So if it's either the 5.45 or even the 7.62 variants like you'll see here, like the AK-105 or AK-74s in general, basically you're good to go. And if you're looking for products like that, check it out in the description down below for this one. Now before I get into my last rifle that I do have as a noticeable as a replicant to the actual guns that you see in Modern Warfare 3 beta, let's go ahead and bring up the honorable mentions. That's something that we can don't have here during the time of recording because of the fact it's either hard to find or we don't have during the time of the recording itself. So bringing up the actual first one is the MTZ 5.56. Now surprisingly, you've seen this before on Call of Duty Ghosts. In reality, this is actually the CZ BREN 805. Now one thing we do know is the actual airsoft CZ BREN 805 is made by ASG. And again, just like the rifle itself, it's pretty good and accurate on details, and as well to that, it's a very reliable gun with the ETU system itself. Kind of rare too. If you have this gun right now, you are one lucky person to have this, and hey, props to you for having it and keeping it this strong. The next thing that we have in regards of the assault rifles is the MCW. Now the MCW is just basically the Robinson Arms ACR, also known as in the actual airsoft community as the MASADA. And surprisingly, the MASADA is also kind of a rarity too. But there are other copies that you'll see out there that actually does a really good job. Specifically, the Atlas Custom Picatinny version that you'll see on actually like Lancer Tacticals or any other of the like other places that you'll see for the website itself. And again, something about the Picatinny on the rifle itself is quite bougie, and I kind of like that. It gives that vibes from way back from Modern Warfare 3. Now another rifle, or should I say it more like an SMG, is something I would mention as well, is the actual Scorpion Evo, also known as the Rival. And surprisingly with that one, again, it still has that same ETU setup, something that's really nice in regards to the crisp, and the same thing you'll see on the 805 BREN, where your trigger response is a lot better and still reliable in that source. Surprisingly if you got it in that Wolf Gray. Again, something really bougie, and I've only seen it a couple times all the way throughout my whole time in airsoft. Now for a pistol wise, I want to bring up as an honorable mention what also be is the actual Renetti, as you'll see on Modern Warfare 3. Surprisingly enough, this wasn't actually an old pistol that started off that you would see out there since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare on PS3 and Xbox. But the fact that they bring it back is actually pretty interesting, and it's also more modernized to today's aspects. Mainly the fact that we also seen that in the airsoft type is like the G&G GMP 92. Same thing you have is the nice modernized style with the actual Picatinny on the bottom to put your flashlights, and again the slim type of grips compared to like the wide ones you'll see on the old school days where there's no Picatinny. So again, something that's actually pretty nice, and if you're looking for those kind of pistols, you can check it out down there as well. Now for my last honorable mention is going to be about the PKM. The PKM itself, surprisingly seen coming back in Modern Warfare 3, is a nice Russian touch to the actual LMG baseline, compared to like you would see like as the RAL, the 249, even a 240 for all that situations. But the fact that I see it in Russian actual LMG is pretty nice. The fact that I don't know the long name for it, but something starts with a P and something else. I'll put it on here in regards of it. But in reality, it's what we know as the PKM. And the fact that the aftermarket parts that you see on there is the bulb-up system itself, and also the modernized type of Zenico builds you'll see, especially the fact that you see the handle on the top. So something surprising that's actually pretty nice. Now for that, I would say is you'll see more often that's more accurate to that will be is the LCT type of PKM. Again, it's a pricey line for the airsoft gun, but if you want to do something like that, especially that bulb-up style, that's the main gun I would say you can probably look into. And that's my last honorable mention that I have so far in regards of the ones that we don't have. It's a lot for the time being, but I do admit there's more coming out for the beta since the new one is coming out with a new week, and of course probably new possibilities of actually unlocking other stuff. But for now, let's go into my last one I've seen as a reference to it. That's something that's close to the airsoft type, is the Bass P. Now the Bass P itself is actually a battle rifle that's going off of the real one of the 6-hour Spear. And one thing I will admit, when I first met that rifle in regards to Battlefield 2045, and the fact that 6 hours actual setup for the 6.8mm project for the new weapon for the service rifle, I fell in love with it at the same time where in fact there is no airsoft variant, so of course I had to build something close enough to it. But this is basically the closest thing I can get to is the actual 6-hour MCX Virtus AEG. Now, I do apologize viewers, the fact that yes, this is the 5.56 variant and the fact that the real rifle is a 6.8mm caliber, but this is the closest thing I can get to it unless 6-hour actually builds an actual 6-hour Spirit AEG or gas blowback. Seriously, 6-hour, if you actually let me know about that, please let me do a review. I'll even buy the rifle for the love of God. You do it, I'll buy it. But I digress. In regards to the actual rifle itself, I did put some parts on it, like an actual rail to extend it with the barrel itself, and actually the buffer tube to the 1913 adapter that's on here to make it close enough as is. In the fact I also did the variable scope, the PEC box as well, and for the short mag to make it as close as I can to the 20 rounders. But I digress. But for now, this is basically the last I have in regards to references to the beta. But what do you guys think about the products that you see down that's close enough to relevance, or what would you recommend in regards to it? And also, drop a comment on what you guys think about the actual beta itself, and how do you feel about the new Modern Warfare 3 basically coming out next month. But other than that, my name's Mike. I'll see you guys in the next episode.
This video is brought to you by Airsoft Master.